Alright, now starting off my list at number 5, we've got the only NL team on this list, the Washington Nationals, and you're going to see a lot here. What I like is really deep starting pitching. Not just one ace, but a guy who's going to pitch the second day or the third day who can give you just as good a chance to win. And I think that if you're Washington, obviously you've got Scherzer. That's a top 3 pitcher right there in the league. Strasburg is an ace. And then you've got Gio Gonzalez, who over the years has proven, he's a pretty fucking good pitcher. And, last year, I don't know if the offense is going to be quite as good this year, but they've still got Bryce Harper. He's a guy who can win an MVP any year. Still got Zimmerman and Rendon, and whenever Murphy comes back, but I like the starting pitching a lot. That's why I've got them on this list. I know number 4, I've got the Red Sox. I would have had them higher on this list, but last few years they have not been faring too well against other AL powerhouses in the playoffs, and I wouldn't trust them against a team like the Astros or the Indians again. And even though they do have very good pitching, at any moment Porcello or David Price can just crumble. Like Porcello is very inconsistent. He won the Cy Young last year, had the most wins in the league, or 2 years ago, had the most wins in the league, and then next thing you know, he has the most losses in the league halfway through the season, and David Price just hasn't been the same since he got to Boston. So for me, Boston's 4. I do think JD Martinez does fill that David Ortiz role very well, but when you get to the postseason, the pitchers are a lot harder. You're not going to be hitting so many doubles every single game. You're going to need some guys who are going to take those walks. Guys who my next 3 teams have quite a lot of. So the number 3 on this list, third best team in the league, I think is Cleveland. Now, they're only 2 games over 500 as I'm recording this, but every single year they go on that 15 to 20 game win streak where, they'll just completely blow by everyone else in their division. They'll win their division again this year. There's not really anywhere that Cleveland as a whole. You look at the pitching. Obviously, you've got Kluber as the ace. You've got Carrasco. Whatever's going on with Salazar, but you don't really need Salazar right now because Trevor Bauer, and Mike Clevenger have been unbelievable this year. So the Indians seem to always have good pitching. You've got one of the best young players in the league in Francisco Lindor. I think Terry Francona is one of the best managers in the league, obviously, and you went to the World Series 2 years ago without Brantley or Encarnacion on that roster. And, look where you are now. Probably a better team than you were then. And definitely an experienced team. You've been there a lot lately. And, the experience, even though in baseball it doesn't really seem to matter that much. When you've got guys that young who are that experienced, like Lindor, it's going to help. And that's why they're number 3 on my list. Alright, number 2. I've got the Bronx Bombers. I think the Yankees are the second best team in the league. I do think they're better than the Red Sox. They just haven't really played well against them this year. You've got Giancarlo and Aaron Judge in the outfield, and the only problem that people would have, I think, with the Yankees is this: other than Severino, no one else really has been pitching that well for them for the starting roles. But if I'm the Yankees, you can go out at the deadline and get another starting pitcher. But I mean, Sonny Gray is not going to be this bad for that long. Sonny Gray is going to come back to earth. You're going to have an ace, and you're going to have Sonny Gray as your second. You're going to have Sabathia there. You're going to have Montgomery. You're going to have Tanaka. Those are all just good pitchers, not aces, but they're all good pitchers. And obviously the bullpen, best in the league, or tied probably with Cleveland for the best in the league. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Cleveland, great bullpen, obviously, but when you're the Yankees, you don't need the 7 great innings from your starter. You're gonna get it from Severino every 5 days, or in the playoffs every 3 or 4 days. But what you really, really need is just get a lead into the 5th or 6th inning, and then you've got all those guys coming in. All those guys are good. All of them in the bullpen, and then once the further you go into the game, the better it gets with Betances, and then eventually to Chapman, or whoever you want to throw in before that, Canely, And I mean, on offense, there's nothing really more to say about the Yankees on offense. I mean, Judge, Stanton, Gleyber Torres is only a rookie. You've got CC, or fuck me, not CC, Didi Gregorius. Just a fucking stacked team, if you ask me. And obviously, you've got Gary Sanchez back there as well. So, you could probably guess by now who the number 1 team is, and it's the team that just won the World Series. And I'm talking about the Houston Astros. They only got better from last year. And I mean, there's nothing not to love about the Astros. They have the best ERA in the league by far at 2.7 as I'm recording right now. The next team is 50 points higher, and I don't remember which team it was, but they were 3.2. So if you're Houston, you had the best offense last year, still got probably the best offense this year when you look at it. I mean, that is a stacked lineup, stacked top to bottom. But now what you've got is you've got Keuchel at the 1. You've got Verlander with a 1.1 career ERA with the Astros at 2. And then you've got Garrett Cole, 2.05 ERA at the 3. And then you've got Charlie Morton, who just had his first loss today and had an ERA under 3, has an ERA under 3. And your 5th starter is Lance McCullers, who played very well in the playoffs. He's obviously a very talented young pitcher. And the bullpen's been good this year too. They haven't blown many saves, and obviously, once again, the offense, don't need to talk about that. You've got Springer and Altuve and Correa and Bregman and Reddick and Gonzalez and Gurriel, and all those guys are top players, so they're the team to beat. And until I make another one of these, they're probably still going to be up there. So that's it for this video.